guys are ready for this. You deserve to be here. You deserve to be here. You've earned being here.
We made great things happen this season.
For the rest of my life, I'm going to remember this.
They've done it! They've done it for the first time in program history! Missouri Western State University has an outright MIAA championship.
Unbelievable character today!
There's a lot of pride, and that's why we work so hard.
Knowing someone else has your back and you have theirs.
We're a family, and that's what we're about, and we win for each other. We want to prove ourselves to be the best again.
You're watching Griffin Sports Insider, presented by Spine and Sport Physical Therapy. Now, here are your hosts, Brett Esely and Ryan Menley.
Hello and welcome. We have the number 6 team in the Division II Football Nation, and we're back for season number 4 of GSI.
They brought us back. Guess what? They brought us back. It's good to be back. I'm just glad you've unchained me from underneath the desk the last 6 months
welcome.
here.
Nice
Thank
to
you
have
so
you
much.
back.
You know who else is back?
Tom Smith.
Well, him too. We'll talk about him later. But you know what? The defending MIAA champions return to action this Thursday night. Season opener at Central Missouri. The Griffins lost a ton of talent from last year's record-setting 12-2 season. Got a couple of guys in the NFL, but you know what? Cupboard's not bare.
No, not when you return your first-team all-conference MIAA quarterback. That's a good place to start. Travis Partridge is back for his final go. All he did last year was lead the Griffins to their greatest season ever and account for 48 total touchdowns, 30 through the air, 18 on the ground. He led the MIAA in quarterback efficiency as well. This season will mark the end of an era for the Partridge family. Not everybody gets to play for their dad at the college level. Father and son will try to enjoy this final ride.
Yeah, we're having fun. I mean, he was smiling at me, and he was kind of making jokes at me. And now, if I do something wrong, he'll gladly let me know about it. But yeah, it's fun to be out here. I mean, I cherish this place, and I have a lot of pride in this place, and it's a lot of fun for me.
I need to cherish it. I need to slow down and enjoy it. But you know, it is high stakes. It's not like it's little league or anything like that. It's you know, he's played really well for us and helped us win a championship, and you know, the pressure's still there. He's got to go out and prove it again and do it again, and we need him to be a very good leader, which he is, and he needs to go out there and perform and be a good football player, which he is, and. You know, it is special. Here we are, year 5, and when it's over, I'll miss it, no doubt.
Coach P has his son for one more year. His son has his favorite target back for one more year, too. Tight end Reggie Jordan, a preseason All-American, hauled in 14 touchdowns in 2012. Also returning 6th-year senior Tyron Crockham. He led the Griffins with 44 catches last season. Highlights a pretty talented wide receiver group. Well, Michael Hill led the nation in rushing last year. He is not returning. He's in the NFL, spent the summer with the San Diego Chargers.
Oh, good for Mike. You know what? You don't necessarily replace that. The Griffins will counter with a 3-headed rushing attack this fall. Dom Thomas, Dalton Kreis, and Raphael Spencer will share the load on the ground. Kreis is back after missing 2012 with a torn ACL. He'll bring the thunder. Thomas and Spencer, well, they'll add the lightning. Coach Partridge being very bold about the ground game.
We're going to be as good as anybody in our conference at running back. And now, you know, those kids, a couple kids from those Oklahoma schools are pretty good players, but I'll put our guys against up against anybody.
The offense looks to be in good shape if the offensive line can come together. This unit is the biggest question mark of this 2013 squad. Griffins have to replace all 5 starters. Senior Jeremy Jacobson, the only returner with significant experience from last year, but their O-line coach has been known to work wonders. Todd Throckmorton, he's the last coach to leave the office every night. He's also taking over this year's offensive coordinator. He says the Griffins will continue to put up numbers if his big men can come together.
But they got the talent to do it. We just got to keep working on our fundamentals and techniques, and that's probably the biggest thing. I think we got to keep polishing here in fall camp.
Well, they say offense puts the butts in the seats, but you know what, Ryan? Defense wins championships, and if that's the case, this Griffin team's in pretty good shape, aren't we?
Yeah, that starts up front, too. Death row, now that's dead. 4/5 of last year's defensive
like disco.
line. Yeah, it's disco death
dead.
row. 4/5 of last year's defensive line, which they called themselves death row, they're gone, including David Bass, who's now killing NFL quarterbacks. But the thing about death row is it was pretty deep. Austin Baska, the lone returning starter, but Arbanis Elliott and Giannis Matulis will join him. The trio combined for 8 sacks last year. Linebacking core will be a major strength, led by Steven Jurgens, Nick Williams, Wallace Carter. Also, look out for Yami Ali, who returns after tearing his ACL in Week 3 last year. Yami, one of the team captains, and only as a redshirt sophomore, very talented, very intelligent. Cornerback spots anchored by Marcus Thompson and Mike Jordan. Missouri Western's number 23, the reigning MIAA Freshman of the Year. He led the Griffins with 4 interceptions in 2012. Safety spot will be anchored by Mark Harrison, who made some huge plays in huge games during Western's magical postseason run a year ago. Okay, so that's the position breakdown. Now time to look ahead to the season opener.
We can't wait for that. We'll break that down with head coach Coach Partridge when GSI comes back.
Sometimes I wonder if Elvis had hip pain. And if he did, I know I could have fixed it. And if I did, he'd still be alive today.
I'm David Bass, and you're watching Griffin Sports Insider, sponsored by Spine and Sport Physical Therapy.
1 year ago, the Griffins started 2012 with a bang. They jumped out to a 28-0 lead on Central Missouri and never looked back en route to a 38-26 victory in St. Joe. A rematch of last year's season opener this Thursday in Warrensburg. Predictions? Anybody? Somebody?
Stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em. Stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em. Gonna run the beat.
Of course we're going to get a prediction. It's beatboxing with Bo. Why wouldn't we get a prediction? He is our prediction czar. Bo, welcome back for another season.
I'm back.
Yes, of course you are, and you're very scary too. Well, Bo, here it is. This is the expert thing. This is what you're good at. This is what you know. Missouri Western at Central Missouri, the season opener Thursday. What's it going to be?
I had a mule once, and it was a real jackass. Griffin 77, Mule 14.
77-14. It's the season opener. How do you come to that?
Total pain.
And joining us now in his 17th season as head coach of the Griffins, the reigning MIAA Coach of the Year and the administrator of Total Pain, head coach Coach Partridge. You and Bo.
Nice to be Bo.
I'd like to say I'm surprised by that, but
Are you?
I'm not. He hadn't missed a beat, has he?
Yeah, he has. He missed a couple beats.
Well, he was close enough last year. Hey, your thoughts on the team that you're taking to Warrensburg this Thursday?
Inexperienced in some places. There's some really good players back that have high value in our conference at this level and have helped us win a championship. You know, and we're counting on those guys to continue to play that way and play consistently well. But we just got to have that hunger again, which I think we have. I talked during the practice week about being hungry, about staying consistent, about earning the right to win every week you go play, and doing the little things right. And I think our kids are buying into that. We're going to find out when we play Central on Thursday. But, you know, those kids that are inexperienced in some spots are the ones that got to keep from hyperventilating and play well for us.
Well, in game one, you know, some teams you know a lot about, some you don't. Central Missouri is a team that was 6-5 a year ago. They have a lot of returning players. It's always a quality program. Going to be a special environment. There's going to be a lot of people down there. Dangerous opening game, isn't it?
No doubt. I mean, they're good. I mean, they're you know, we've been very fortunate and had a lot of success against them over the last decade. Last year, I did not like playing them first. Matter of fact, at the media day, I said something to Coach Sabota. I said, hey, why don't we just skip this thing and play it later on and you know, get ourselves ready to go? And he said, I'm all for it. I don't think the league will approve. And you know, they've got some linemen there continuing to build through their system. They have only one returning starter with experience, very similar to our situation. They've got a good back. We have, you know, 2 or 3 really good ones back. They have good receivers. There's actually a transfer receiver that we try to get that's a big body that has great playmaking skills. You know, I think defensive front-wise, they'll be a lot similar to us. They'll have some good size and great speed. So they got a good quality team. Again, like you talked about the environment, I think they've been drawing well for the last several years, especially early in the season. I imagine we'll have 5 figures in the stands, and it's on TV, and they're going to get the red out, and it's going to be a very tough environment. And our ability to handle the emotion that they're going to bring to the table is going to be a key item.
You've kind of had their number in the last few years, over the last decade. You've won 9 out of 10 meetings with them. And that's a good team. That's not a bottom-level team. That's an upper echelon team that you just have kind of, you've owned them the last decade. How do you explain something like that?
Well, I don't know if it is explainable. We find a way. They find a way not to win in some cases. Like last year, they turned it over early. We got to a big lead. There's been some really close games where it just swings at the end. But I don't think a lot of folks realize that we got that kind of string at Central Missouri. It doesn't mean we get to make it 10 out of 11. It also doesn't mean they get to win it. It's what these two teams do on Thursday night.
We talked in the first segment about how special it is to have Travis with you for one more go, but just talk about what he needs to do this year, just with an inexperienced O-line in front of him. And he's going to really have some pressure on his shoulders, and he's that kind of guy that will take it and sometimes wants to do too much sometimes.
Yeah, he can handle pressure. It doesn't rattle him at all. But it's we're out there going 7-on-7 with no pass rush. He's ready to really do that. He's really ready to do that stuff at the highest level he's been at. He's going to get the ball in the right place. He knows where to go with it. He understands our system. He understands coverages. He's got the strong arm. He can spin it well. He does everything well right now, and he's very accurate. Our ability to give him time to do that to the guys we think are very good players. We got some good receivers, very good receivers. I'm really pleased with the young receivers that are coming on and going to get their first real legit action. We're going to find something that's going to move the ball, but we need to take advantage of what Travis's tool set is, and we can do that. Now, is he going to try to do too much? He might try to force some things. He's very confident at times, but we got to live with that too, because there's times that he makes that play.
Give us a couple keys to victory on opening night.
I think it's like every game. I think, first of all, we got to come out when we've got to dominate the line of scrimmage. We feel like we got a very strong D-line. I think they feel very highly about their D-line, and the teams that win the battle in the trenches usually win. I think the turnovers are a huge deal. Anytime we've ever played Central, the turnovers have been a huge deal, and we need to come out in the plus in that area. And then kicking game-wise, this league is so good. You always say win the kicking game, but I think you got to find a way not to lose the kicking game usually, because everybody's so good at it. You at least got to neutralize them and hope that you do something that's catastrophic for them in what you do.
Easily stabilizing trio made it back.
It did.
How about that?
It was against my wishes.
It was against his wishes, and you know what, guys? It's a 4-course meal today for $16.99. So, Coach P, we're coming off.
4 questions.
Well, no, it's not. It's just kind of our special. We get soup, salad, the main course, and dessert. So
we charge you for
but we charge you for 4. So, Coach P, got to ask you, summer vacation. Where'd you go this year?
Actually, went to Cancun.
Yeah, okay.
And you tell that story.
And of that, what was your favorite moment of that Cancun trip? I knew the answer to that. I just had to ask.
It was not. It wasn't parasailing.
It was not parasailing.
We'll get into that
hint,
in another
hint, wink,
segment.
wink.
Yep.
Okay. Those are kind of 2 questions. And finally, and one I know you're very passionate about. From your expectations in April to now, how about the Royals? Your thoughts?
Emotional roller coaster.
It has been.
I am more of a positive spin person with the Royals.
You always have been.
As opposed to some that are on Facebook and Twitter.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Some of those.
Hey, they're 5 over 500 as we speak, so let's hope that continues. Yeah. It's not even September yet, they're still in it.
Well, you're still in it. Let's go win another MIAA Conference Championship.
Yep. Good luck.
It starts on Thursday. It's head coach Jerry Partridge. We'll see him in Warrensburg, and we'll see you after the break.
At neck deep, 700 cubic centimeters of blood is displaced from the extremities back to the heart. What I'm trying to say is, aquatic therapy gets your blood pumping.
Ankle bone connected to you, leg bone, your leg bone connected to you, knee bone, your knee bone connected to you, thigh bone, now hear the word of the Lord.
It's all connected.
Connected to you, hip bone, your hip bone connected to you, backbone, your backbone connected to you, shoulder bone, now hear the word of the Lord.
How's this for an unbelievable run of Griffin athletes in one calendar year? David Bass and Michael Hill both wearing NFL uniforms. Bass, a 7th-round pick by the Oakland Raiders in April, signed with the Chicago Bears in August. Mike Hill, a free agent signing with the Chargers in April. now wearing Green Bay Packer green and gold. Then in June, Griffin baseball players Grant Fink and Michael Schultz both got drafted. Fink going to the Cleveland Indians, Schultz, the Division II National Player of the Year, going to the St. Louis Cardinals. Throw in Jessica Cook, who's playing pro basketball in Australia, Alex Toluca playing pro ball in Belgium, and Greg Zuerlein, who's become a cult classic, kicking 1,000-yard field goals in St. Louis, and Missouri Western is well represented at the highest levels.
But maybe arguably the most impressive milestone, Brett Esely, happened just a few weeks ago.
You got that right. Culmination of a lifelong dream as Griffin Hall of Famer Bryce Garnett, a 2006 graduate, finally reached the pinnacle of the golfing world. KQ2's Matt Tritton has that story.
After working as a pro for the last 6 years, Bryce Garnett has finally reached golf's peak.
I've been working hard my whole professional career to get to this stage. It's really neat to know that someone from Northwest Missouri will be representing us on the PGA Tour next year. I think it's a great thing.
Garnett earned his PGA Tour card earlier this year as he wraps up the Web.com Tour. For the Gallatin native, he sometimes can't believe he's living his dream.
You know, I have to remind myself all the time that I'm having fun. It's a job, and there's not many people that get the opportunity to play golf every day. So I have so much support back home in Gallatin and St. Joseph, and you know, my buddies still ride me pretty hard and make sure that I realize what I'm doing is a pretty good job.
As Garnett continues his career among the best in the world next year, he won't forget how he got here.
It's been great. I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know, I love coming from the small farm town community, and you know, I know that everybody's going to be supporting me no matter what next year.
That's Matt Tritton reporting. Bryce is on his way. He'll begin on the PGA Tour this fall. His alma mater, they've already teed off the fall season. Griffin men opened up shop Tuesday in Osage Beach, Missouri. Griffin women tee off their season this Saturday in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Both teams have a new leader. Greg Dillon was named the head coach for both the men's and women's programs in August. Coach Dillon comes to the Griffins from Colorado State Pueblo. In his 4 seasons there, he was named the Rocky Mountain Athletic Coach of the Year 3 times. Dillon takes over for Kathy Habermill and Jim Perry, who both retired last spring. Well, we do have one coach that will never retire.
No, couldn't stay away. Tom Smith, the Hall of Fame basketball coach who closed the chapter on a 38-year hardwood career last March, is back at Missouri Western in a little different role. Smith has stepped in to take over the Griffin women's tennis program. It was a rather surprising announcement, but it's not like it's a huge stretch. Smith actually coached 3 seasons of tennis at his alma mater, Valparaiso, way back in the day. Actually won a conference championship too. Tom's wife, Patsy, also coached tennis at Western in the late 90s, meaning she'll be helping him a lot. Coach Smith officially retired from Western in July, so his retirement lasted basically less than 2 months.
Longest 1 month, 24 days I've ever been through in my life.
Retirement did not treat you well, I guess, if it's been that short.
I don't think so. I really struggled with, not having the personal communication with people and interaction, I guess would be the better word, interaction with people and things. I really miss that, I think, more than anything else.
Meanwhile, another new face makes her head coaching debut this month. Marion Carbon spent the last 5 seasons as an assistant under Corey Frederick. Frederick retired last spring. Now Carbon gets the rare opportunity to lead the program she once played for, a program that steadily improved each year during her assistant coaching tenure, and a program now ready to take the next step.
We are going to be high achieving. We've got a lot of talent that we've had here that we've been developing, and they're ready to produce. They're ready to get the wins that they expect from themselves.
And we have a good group of girls who are going to be high achievers, and we're definitely going to get the job done this year.
The Marion Carbon era for Griffin volleyball begins this Friday in Pittsburgh, Kansas at the Pitt State Invitational.
Meanwhile, Griffin soccer kicks off its season this Friday on the road at Bemidji State in Minnesota, and it's a new era of sorts for Coach Chad Edwards in more ways than one.
Good, get there, run through the ball. I love that effort. That's a great effort.
From an expectation standpoint, this is the highest expectations we've had.
The skill level is really high. Almost half the team is new.
This is the most talented group that we've brought in so far. I think this year with the players that we have, we're going to be a little bit more attacking minded.
It's our goal this year. We want to win games, we got to score.
More offense, obviously more scores, more wins, so I'm excited.
we were unfortunate last year with the injury bug bit us hard towards the middle of the season. Katie Kempf was our leading goal scorer at the time and got banged up, tore ACL, and then a week later it happened to Ashley Jurevich. But fortunately, they've worked really, really hard in the off season, and they're back.
Me being out last year, it sucked watching, you know, being on the sidelines, not being out there, being able to help my team. But this year, I feel like I've got to put my own effort in to help them score goals.
I'd say I'm 100%. I mean, I just got cleared, and I've been doing rehab and everything with Becky, been working out all summer, so I'd say I'm 100% ready to go.
We definitely need to be more proactive and win more games, and definitely our goal is to make the tournament and win the conference.
Life changed for you a lot this spring. What happened?
Yeah, my wife and I, Tiffany, had our first child, Malia May, and it's been an unbelievable 3 months. She surprised us a little bit early, and she's been nothing but a charm. It's been a really, really cool experience watching her grow up, and she wants us to play at a high level. She's already, she's already told me. So, yeah. She's been yelling and screaming already. So,
wow,
go Griffs! I mean, she's incredible. She's definitely griffed up.
Power equals 2 times the gravitational constant times mass over the radius from the center of mass.
What'd you say?
Train like the pros and jump.
Welcome back. Another season of GSI means another season of training like the pros.
And it does. Can't wait. Here's Fred Schunkweiler from Spine and Sport Physical Therapy.
All right, I'm here with Dalton Christ of Missouri Western Football. Last year, Dalton tore his ACL in the first game of his junior year. This year, on Train Like the Pros, we're going to talk about a functional movement screen that helps professionals as physical therapists identify an athlete's weak link. So over the next 7 weeks, you're going to see how we take Dalton through a series of tests that measures his mobility and his stability, looks at how the body moves as a whole. This test is highly researched. As you go into the pros, NFL uses this screening test with all of their athletes during the combine. We're going to take Dalton through that same test because we want to help prevent another injury. We want to improve how the body moves so that we don't end up on the sideline. This test is a complicated test. There's 3 points for each identified test. There is a scoring system to this test. 21 is a perfect score. Nobody's going to get that. 14 is the cutoff point that shows us who's at risk for injury. So we want to hit that level. Training like the pros, that's what we're going to help Dalton do over the next 7 weeks. Dalton's coming off an ACL injury, so as you watch for the next 7 weeks, you're going to see how we prepare him to train like the pros to prevent injuries. We'll see you next week on Train Like the Pros.
I think what's so neat about it is we could never put a price on the exposure that we get.
That seems like yesterday that the Kansas City Chiefs were taking the field at Missouri Western for the very first time. Time flies. The Chiefs wrapped up another successful training camp in St. Joe this past summer. It's the 4th straight year Kansas City has called Missouri Western its summer home. And it was the first summer for new head Chiefs coach Andy Reid, who gave Griffin Nation a glowing review.
Well, they've been phenomenal. I mean, the people here, I can't tell you, I can't say enough good things about them. From the guys that take care of the field. These fields are incredible, to the food. The food's unbelievable. The people that take care of the rooms for the players, they're clean. They make your bed they do everything for you. It's quite a setup, and they've just kind of bent over backwards for us. I think it starts with the university. I think what a great setup here. I'm an athlete. This setup right here. I'm gonna look at this school right here. It's an incredible situation for athletics, I'll tell you.
Coach Reid finding out about Missouri Western, what we already knew, it's a special place.
Well, it is, and he likes the food, and the food's good. We already knew that as well. But Coach Reid, John Dorsey, class acts, I'd say the Chiefs' leadership is in good shape, and hopefully that leads to good things on the field. I think it will.
Well, hopefully good things for the Griffin football team on the field this Thursday night. The season opener in Warrensburg at Central Missouri, 7 o'clock. You can see that game on the MIAA network. You can listen to that game on the Griffin Sports Network.
Got that right.
Follow it on Twitter at GoGriffins.
Hey, why not come down?
That would
or come to Warrensburg. We'd love to have you there.
Come support the Griffins. We'll see you next week on GSI.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, go Griffs!